Okay, it does look like we are streaming live, so I'm going to let that go and I'll get this going over here. Hi, welcome back to another session with Yoga Lachi. It does look like we are streaming live, so I'm going to let that go and get this, pull that off. Okay, so what we're going to do today is answer a couple of reader questions. And the first one I have is how to calm the energy that starts to take over. So sometimes readers will send me long explanations, and I'm just giving a little snippet of it. So it's really just, if you've been experiencing right now in this time that I'm recording this is, we're in Washington State, we're still under a bit of a lockdown. We're still required 6 feet apart, required to wear masks in public. And while, I have no opinion one way or the other politically, or whether it's conspiracy theory or all of that, it's just been taking its toll on our ability to connect with one another. There's also a suppression to the immune system because of the fear factor that's been really elevated, escalated for most every human at this point. And so that's now become common. And this reader was asking for some things that they could do on a daily basis without stopping everything and just unplugging, to shift and to cleanse. And this is a beautiful Qigong, very, very simple movement. In fact, the mudras, or the hand positions that we do in yoga and in Qigong, correlate to energy and energy systems in the body. So without getting too esoteric, it's really the principles that we follow here, that everything is energy. And while, Einstein said you can't destroy or create energy, it's never been destroyed or created. It is, however, able to be transmuted or shifted. So we can shift our energy. So let's say, for example, you have energy that's very chaotic. It's on a frequency that's this chaotic vibration. You can use tools, and there's actually many tools that you can use to calm that down. Some people use chemicals. Some people use neural shutdowns, like watching the TV and just going kind of numb. Or some people use exercise. Some people use dancing. Some people use, I'm drinking wine. So chemicals, like I said. And that is no judgment here. It's really that you have to understand you're using that as a tool. And is it effective for where you're at? For someone who is in chronic pain and is miserable, taking an aspirin or taking a painkiller might be the absolute best thing that they can do, as opposed to looking for a natural cure. And I'm all for natural. We had this experience in our household where I couldn't help my child with all the tools that I have in my holistic toolbox. And as far as holistic as, I will also look at the mainstream medicine, which would be, there's antibiotics, there's aspirin, there are painkillers. Is it my go-to on an automatic? No, and I don't really suggest it. I don't think it's necessary. I think our bodies are very resilient, and there are many other tools that we can go to before we get to, let's say, a painkiller, or we get to numbing out, right? So I want to give a few options so that you can have more in your toolbox than just, let's say, a hammer. This is a Qigong movement, or hand position, that allows for the lymph nodes to clean. And lymph nodes are they're essentially always working to help with the toxins. They're helping to move out toxins. So let's say if you have a bunch of toxic trains coming into the station and they're putting out all this toxic fumes, but your station is enclosed, it's not going to be, and the air is not flowing, it's going to get very clogged in there. We've seen this with the fires and how It took the rain to clean that out. And so the air that we were breathing for almost a couple of weeks was toxic. It's the same thing with our foods that might be toxic, our thoughts, our emotions, all of that. So if it becomes stuck or stagnant and the body isn't able to move it through its normal procedure, like the lymph nodes normally moving things out, then we get a backup. And that backup tends to look like, feel like pain, extreme discomfort, and other symptoms, right? So the two pieces that I want to teach you today are very simply placing your fingers, the ring fingers specifically, just curling them in onto your palms and taking a deep breath in. So I go through a lot of talking just to get to this point, but I want you to understand this is a tool. And so just be present with this and let's try it. Curl your ring finger in to the palm of your hand. And I'm going to bring it up so you can see. It's very simply curl wherever it touches lightly, let it touch. And if you can, just soften your eyes or close your eyes if you feel comfortable and take a deep breath in. So that connection opens up channels in the body to help clear out toxins. It helps the lymphatic system clear out toxins. So if you're feeling like overwhelmed and you're not able to, if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed and like that backup that I was talking about, try this. Just bring your index finger to not your index finger. This is specifically for the ring finger, right to the palm wherever it lands, and just let it sit there. I really love feedback. So I would love to know, did you feel anything? Did you notice anything? I've been doing it for countless years, and every single time I notice a shift. I feel more grounded. When I'm in my head, which is a lot, I feel less in my head. And it's so simple, right? It's so simple. So that's all there is to it. And that's a Qigong movement. It's from Spring Forest Qigong. I've been a practitioner with them for countless years and so grateful for the teachers and mentors. And now I'm sharing it with you. So here's another one. And by the way, you can do that anywhere you are, right? You can do it in the car. You can do it standing in a meeting, sitting in a meeting, sitting at your desk at home. You can teach it to your children, and it's fun. Okay, the next one I'm going to teach you is a tapping technique, not emotional freedom technique. That's a fabulous one. If you don't know that, definitely check out some of my other videos on emotional freedom technique. But this is just tapping on the collarbone area, and it helps to relieve stress. People will naturally do this when they are stressed because the body's stress response can be calmed right here. And naturally the body, we've tended to do this, right? We can just tap. You can tap softly. You don't have to tap hard. Taking a deep breath in, letting it out. So really simple, almost these light touches, simple actions are more effective and more profound than, a big sledgehammer. We don't necessarily need a sledgehammer. Sometimes I think painkillers are sledgehammers. We don't always need that sledgehammer. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we absolutely need that sledgehammer. But in these times, I think what we should be doing is really taking care of ourselves on a moment-to-moment basis, not a daily or a weekly or a monthly or when we get sick basis, but a moment-to-moment basis. And that requires us getting very present and aware. So that brings me to my third and final tip for this reader, and that is meditation. So meditation is something that I've been talking about and teaching almost at least weekly, I'm talking about it. And if you haven't developed your own personal meditation practice, I highly recommend you start. In fact, if you would like some support with that, we have the 21-day reset coming up. It starts November 1st, and we're going 21 days straight. So for 21 days, every single day, we're going to meet live, 21 minutes virtually, so you can be anywhere in the world. And that 21 minutes will be focused on optimal movement, mindset, and optimal nutrition. Not necessarily all in that one session, but during that 21-day period, that will be what our focus is. And then we'll come together for the sessions and teaching really in depth, the Qigong, Pilates, yoga, Tai Chi, nutrition, and meditation. Meditation is not difficult. It can become very confusing and esoteric, but it is not. It is one of the most natural, beautiful things if you allow it. It's really about getting silent. It's really about being the observer, the unattached observer, the unjudgmental, the aware observer with no agenda. And I don't know where I'd be without meditation, honestly. If I did not meditate or have a specific practice that was a habit, I don't know where I'd be. Probably a little bit crazy, a little bit more crazy. I think we are all experiencing that crazy. And so I'm going to show you some meditation. And by the way, I'm drinking chamomile, oat straw, and vanilla rose tea today. This is a brewed tea that I made this morning. It's very calming to the central nervous system. It's very uplifting calming. So calming, but uplifting of the spirits. If you've been feeling anxious, but depressed, this is a beautiful tea. And I'm going to teach you tomorrow about that. We'll do that live. And I'm also going to teach how to make a pumpkin spice, delicious, not quite a fat bomb, but a delicious snack type of bar that I'll be teaching in my kitchen live tomorrow. Okay, so let's do some meditation. With the breath being the most essential, let's focus on the breath. To me, that's the most pure and perfect meditation. If you find your thoughts coming up, just observe them, just notice them, don't judge them. Gently let them, just gently, don't attach to them. And then come back to your breath. We're going to do the breath 4 times in. We're going to hold it for 4, and then we're going to let it out for 6. Here we go. Empty to nothing. Take a deep breath in for 4. Hold. Let it out for just a little bit longer. Deep breath in. Hold. Exhale for just a little bit longer. Let's do 2 more times. Hold. Exhale. Good, now just really focus on your breath. Watch the breath. Deep breath in. Hold. And exhale for just a little bit longer. Watch your breath. So you can continue that on your own. You can do that as a reset any time of the day. It doesn't necessarily matter the time in, time out on this one. It's really just focus on the breath. I tend to practice longer exhales if you're feeling more tension, because when we hold our breath, that lets our body know to tighten up, to be more on guard. When we exhale, that signals our body to relax. So we can do a longer exhale. And then that is it. So beautiful, so simple. It's the power of meditation and very simple tools, like bringing your ring finger to the palm of your hand and just letting that sit there. Just let it do its own thing. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to do anything. It's just a very simple movement of energy, shift of energy there. And then you can place your hand and tap gently. And I truly hope you feel better. I feel better. So I'll send out love and chi out into the ether, out into the world, out into the World Wide Web. And I'd love to see you as a subscriber. If you have any questions or you would like to be a reader question sent in, send one in. I'm always happy to answer them if I can. Much peace and blessings.